Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching Spill the Beans on CNN News 18 with me, Sakshi Singh Litoriya. Joining me today on the chat is someone who has proven his prowess on almost all the screens in the entertainment industry, specifically somebody you already know, Mr. Hansal Mehta. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Hi, Sakshi. My pleasure.
Yeah. So, the Buckingham Murders, where did the inspiration come from? What the idea behind it?
Well, this story came to me in 2018 when I was filming Chalang.
Mm-hmm.
Asim was a co-writer on Chalang, Asim Arora. So he came to me with this idea of a grieving mother in, in this small town in England, and a murder mystery set around that. So that was the idea that he came with, and I really liked the idea. I immediately took to the idea, and I said, once I finished Chalang, let's do this. And then we sort of forgot about it. I got into shooting scam. All of us got into doing different things, and then one fine day, Ekta called me. Ekta Kapoor said, "I heard this story from Asim. I want to make this."
Hmm.
And that was it. I mean, they signed me. We started working on the script. The script went through multiple iterations, multiple changes. Mm, And in 2020, towards the end of 2020, I was put on a Zoom call with Kareena Kapoor Khan. And I thought I would have to pitch the film to her, but she had read the story uh, of the film. There was
Okay.
a story. There was a story treatment document that Asim had made. She had read that, and she said, "I'm already on."
Hmm.
And that was that. I mean, then we slowly went into the process of production and making the film, and I was very clear that I wanted to make a film that went beyond the formula, that went beyond the conventional Hindi film, as they call it. And
Hmm.
also, it was not a film that was a token shoot in London, that was shot in London, but characters, everybody spoke and behaved like they were in Lucknow.
Oh, lovely. And if you were to talk about Kareena's role, we have seen her versatility over the past couple of projects that she has picked up. But if I could ask you one person or one character from the Buckingham Murders that has surprised you, that you were not expecting that specific someone to perform so well, and it came to you all shockingly.
That the audience has to tell me. Well, I've worked with all these people. Every performance is very close to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I do not want. I never want to be in a position where a performance surprises me or shocks me. What
Hmm.
would what I like is the fact that a lot of the performances are being appreciated. Of course,
Hmm.
Kareena is exceptional in the film. It's a very strong, very internal performance. But the performance of, say, somebody like Ranveer Brar, from whom nothing is expected, where there are very few
Hmm.
expectations. So Ranveer's performance has been really, really appreciated. Similarly, the British actors that we've cast, Ash Tandon,
Hmm.
uh, Keith Miller, uh, Keith Allen, who plays Miller, uh, and Prableen Kaur, who plays the mother,
Hmm.
mm, Ranveer Brar's wife. Uh, so all those performances, people have written about them, they've spoken about them, they've liked them, and I think that just makes me happy that we went right with some of the things that we did with the film, that we tried to do with the film.
Hmm.
The air of authenticity that we tried to create around the film with its casting, with choice of locale, all that has fallen into place in such a good way.
Okay. And Mr. Mehta, if I could ask you, from Khana Khazana to the Buckingham Murders, how has the journey been in the entertainment industry? And of course, all the screens, be it the OTT, be it the television or the silver screen, how has it been for you personally?
Very, very satisfying. So,
Hmm.
ironically, from Khana Khazana to Buckingham Murders, one
Hmm.
common factor is food. Mm. From Sanjeev Kapoor to Chef Ranveer Brar.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
Yeah, so it's the food connection doesn't stop, and
Hmm.
Ranveer was with us for nearly 3 weeks during the shoot, and he's cooked many home cooked meals for me. He would come to my
Hmm.
room and just cook a simple gobi ki sabzi. Of course, never simple, but he would
Hmm.
cook something nice. He would cook a khichdi, chane dal ki khichdi, something or the other, and we were blessed to be fed by chefs cooking.
Lovely. And if I am not wrong, since you have already mentioned the music by B. Brak in the Hindi version of the Buckingham Murders, you are also somebody who is very much connected to the classical singing, right? You aspired to be someone else, but ultimately you ended up in the film industry. How did that happen?
No, no, I aspired. Aspiration and talent are two different things. So I very quickly realized that I had no future as a singer. Yeah. So uh, I'm thankful. I'm where I am today, and
Hmm.
I'm not, still trying to learn singing. So yeah, I sing. I sing for myself now, and it is best left to that.
Amazing. If I could ask you one memory that you are taking away from the sets of the Buckingham Murders, what is that one thing? Because, whenever an artist or the writer is connected with one project, they always tell me that they take something from that particular script. What would be that thing for you?
No, I always say we don't make films, we make memories. So there's
Hmm.
no one memory. Your every day is memorable because it comes with its own set of challenges, it comes with its own set of fun.
Hmm.
And, one of the best things about Buckingham is that it was like a wonderful set,
Hmm.
and that it had a majority female crew
Hmm.
and a majority British crew.
Oh,
Mm,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Most of the main HODs,
Hmm.
heads of departments were all British, and they were British women.
Hmm.
The director of photography, the production designer, the costume designer, the teams that worked behind the scenes with other departments, they have a predominantly women. The
Hmm.
gaffer was a woman, which is a rarity in our Indian context. Um, so it was for me also, it was a unique and learning experience. Every day
Amazing.
you were learning something new. You're sort of becoming part of a more universal global team. It's
Hmm.
not, so it was not an Indian crew shooting in England. We were a very, very global team.
Hmm. And over the years, if I could look from afar about the projects that you have done and you have worked on, it majorly comprises of the real story. So, what's the most challenging part of, digging the history and doing the research? Because it comes with a lot of responsibility if you are representing historical fact on screen, that you have to be very apt so that it doesn't turn out to be something else.
Hmm. I think more than responsibility, the biggest responsibility you have is towards the form in which you are telling the story, which is
Hmm.
a cinema,
Hmm.
where you are making a cinematic representation of a true life or a true event. So when you're doing that, how do you keep the audience engaged in that? I think
Hmm.
that is the most important thing, that the cinema of it becomes more important than the mm, anecdotal nature of those stories.
Hmm.
Very often true stories become about anecdotes in a person's life, or they become, uh, false glorification of that person's life. I
Hmm.
think that objectivity and that focus on making it a cinematic work is important.
Hmm. Also, I would like your input on something that we have witnessed in the recent times. It's the films, the evergreen films being re released. What do you think is stopping the big production houses and directors to launch a new project on the big screens and not just re release them?
No, no, I think there's this period right now in which films are not being released. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
like that new projects and new films are not being made. I
Mm-hmm.
think everything is good as long as there is cinema, and there's an audience for cinema. whether it's a release or release, it's most welcome.
Hmm. Also, what's your thought about OTT being censored? Because there's a lot of discussion happening around that, that maybe in the coming future, the things that are being published on OTT platforms will be regulated. Because you are someone who has given us smashing hits on OTT platforms as well.
Well, I, as a principally, am opposed to any form of censorship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and having said that, some level of regulation will just bring in uh, some order. Otherwise, there's a lot of confusion at times. That can you make this? Can you not? So, in the process, you become overly cautious
Hmm.
sometimes.
Hmm.
Because this entire uh, understanding of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, what will create a furor, what will create a wave of intolerance, is very subjective right now. It is
Hmm.
left to executives and to legal teams.
Hmm.
So I think just some level of, rather than regulation, I think clear guidelines will allow people to not be prey to, the now, right now what happens is that in the whole process of writing scripts, there is a legal team that has become almost like a co-writer.
Hmm.
So I think just clear guidelines about what the what is acceptable, what is not, the ratings, I think is welcome given the times that we live in. Otherwise, censorship should not exist as a concept. Censorship should not exist in a free society. Censorship has no place.
Hmm, definitely. Also, something which is quote unquote the box office collection. We are looking at people nowadays judging a film based on the collection that the film has managed to get through the silver screens. Do you think, as a movie maker, it's fair that people are not focusing much on the script and more on the money that the movie is making?
No, no, I find it absolutely ridiculous.
Hmm.
And I feel that the box office is nobody's business except uh, of those who have invested in the film.
Hmm.
So I think reducing a film to its numbers is a sign of mediocre thinking.
Hmm.
And the great films of all times, uh, who remembers the box office collections ultimately?
Hmm.
It's the films that people remember. Do you know the collections of Bimal Roy's Devdas? Do you know how much Guru Dutt's Pyasa collected?
Hmm.
Do you know what Devanand's Guide collected? Do you know what you know Ship of Theseus collected? What Lunchbox collected?
Hmm.
What Shahid collected? We don't know. We don't know. Do you know
Hmm.
what Gangs of Wasseypur collected? No, we remember them for the films they are.
Hmm, right. Also, like I said in my introduction, also that you are someone who has managed to excel on all the platforms. But if I could ask you, I know this question is going to feel like, I am telling a parent to select a baby. But if I were to give you an option to select between OTT and cinema theater, आपका दिल कहाँ लगता है?
मेरा दिल वहां लगता है जहां पर मेरी कहानियों को ऑडियंस मिले, लोग उन लोगों तक मैं कहानी पहुंचा सकूं. For
Hmm.
me, it is important to tell those stories, and for me, it is important to. So there are certain stories that require. Just OTT पर I do something called a long form,
Hmm.
जिसमें एक कहानी को कहने में मैं 6 7 8 घंटे लगाता हूँ.
Hmm.
तो वो करने के लिए OTT इज द आइडियल प्लेस कि आई कैन कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट में कर सकता हूँ.
Hmm.
उसकी पूरी कहानी, उसके इर्द गिर्द के कैरेक्टर्स के बारे में आई कैन राइट अबाउट दैट, explore them in greater detail. So for that, OTT is an absolute boon.
Hmm. Beautiful. And last but not the least, because you are from Gujarat, you are a Guju. What's your favorite dish? Because every Gujarati is a foodie, and you have already said that, from Chef Sanjeev Kapoor to Ranveer Brar, you are lucky that you have had the biggest of the chefs of our country on your side.
So ultimately, for me, my comfort food is Dal dhokli.
Yeah. Lovely. Also, would you like to break the myth कि गुजराती मीठी दाल ही खाते हैं बस?
नहीं खाते Gujaratis don't eat meaty dal, but I personally love khatti meaty dal.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Mr. Hansal Mehta, for joining us here on the chat. All the very best for the Buckingham Murders. Of course, for the rest of the week, it's going to be there on the cinema theater. That's a wrap from our side, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.